Welcome back, bro. And here we are, episode 5 of Dynasty Life Miami. It's your boy B, and joined by always by my boy JP. How you doing, dog?
Man, just super glad to be with you talking football for another hour this week, man. We're getting closer to the season. We're about 11 Sundays away from it starting, so you already know, buddy. Ready to go.
Dog, it's like I can't even express into words how excited I am for the season, dude. Like every year I get more and more pumped, bro. And we don't got the COVID shit hanging over our heads this year. So I'm ready to go, bro. 11 weekends to go, man. Countdown starts now.
Yeah, man. I actually joined my first 14 man league this past week, man. So to see how I do on that, man. Shout out to all the boys in that league. Yeah, man, I'm excited. That's my first league that's 14 man, super depth. So I'm just antsy to see how I do in that, man.
All right, well, you're gonna have to share once you finish your draft, bro, and see what it looks like, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm down to do that. You already know we got super a lot of content. We got some goodies for you today, man. I just can't wait to share with y'all.
All right, bro. Well, today, last week we took a break from talking divisions. We did a little underdog drafting. This week we're getting right back into it. We're gonna be talking the NFC and AFC North. We got a little bit of another the Would You Rather jumping on. Also, before we do that though, like as always, holler at the Twitter at Uncommon Sense. Follow us on the Apple Podcast at Dynasty Life Miami, all one word. JP, tell them your socials, bro.
You can find me on Twitter at SALAZAR 305, and you can find us at Dynasty Life MIA, as well as Dynasty Life Miami on Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud. You can check us out on all those social medias, man. And please do follow us and give us a rating. We greatly appreciate it, man.
Yep, definitely. Leave a comment. It's all good, bro. Yeah, so before, like we said, we're going to be talking NFC, AFC North. But first, my understanding is we're going to be jumping into another round of Would You Rather. But on this episode, you're going to be throwing some questions at me. Is that right?
Yeah, it's actually my turn to get you in the spotlight, which I got some goodies, man. I think I got some good would you rather's here for you, man. So I'm actually to start, man. Are you ready?
I'm ready to go, bro. Knock them out. Let's go.
All right. So first things first. Would you rather Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts? Murray's currently the QB2 on DLF, and Hurts is sitting at the QB 13. Ready, set, go.
Well, so looking at this question, the first thing that pops into my head is like, bro, what are you doing, bro? It's an easy, it's slam dunk, it's Kyler Murray all the way, right? And but the more I think about it, right? Like let's do a little project here. What if it was Hurts? Why would it be Hurts over Kyler Murray? So the first thing is size. Hurts is bigger, right? And that bigger part is important when you're talking about a running QB. And remember, that's what makes Kyler Murray a QB1, a top three QB. Is his running ability. And when we're talking size, what size difference are you talking? Kyler Murray is 5'10", 207 pounds. All right. I'm taller and almost bigger than him. All right. And he's in the NFL getting slammed around by giant defensive tackles. And I'm sure you noticed last year he injured his shoulder. He gets landed on by one of those defensive tackles. His shoulder wasn't the same, bro, for half the season. He was afraid to run, and you could tell he was afraid to run and afraid to get hit on that shoulder again. And really, that's the worry, right? He's smaller, and he may not be able to take these hits if he keeps running. And like we talked about it, we need him to keep running for the fantasy points. On the other hand, Hurts is 6'1", 223 pounds. All right? He's built, bro. A build like that can take a hit, man. Another reason to lean Hurts is draft cost, right? In a super flex startup, Kyler Murray is going as a top 4 pick, easy. All right? You're going to have to spend, if you want to trade up to get him, you're going to have to spend crazy buku to get there. Hurts, on the other hand, is going late third round. Single QB, Kyler's going in the late fourth, early fifth, and you can grab Hurts in the ninth. So basically, in both those scenarios, you can trade back. You can decide to grab different players at value, a wide receiver, a running back, maybe spend up on a tight end, and you can still get a player like Hurts, who, if we're being serious, and I believe this, his ceiling is Kyler Murray. He could be Kyler Murray, bigger version, right? Now, before you get all excited and say, everyone gets excited and starts jumping Hurts past Murray in their draft board, there's other, there's some drawbacks in Hurts, right? Kyler has the protection of being the 101. He was the number one pick. He's gonna get extended for sure. He's played good enough to earn that second contract. Hurts is a second round pick who wasn't even drafted by this coach and this regime. So they got no loyalty to him. It's basically this year a bust for Hurts. If the Hurts does suck this year, the Eagles are going to get a high pick, and they're probably going to draft a quarterback. Kyler has proven it over a longer period of time. Hurts, we've only seen a few games from Hurts, so it's a gamble, really, of what you're comfortable with, right? But with all that being said, and all those words in a vacuum, I'm going Kyler. If you're putting them head to head in rankings, Kyler is still above Hurts in my rankings, obviously. But I wouldn't be mad if someone wanted to go that risk reward of drafting Hurts, like I talked about. Maybe trading back in the first round of Superflex. You get someone else jumps up to get Kyler. You get a haul. You know that you can go ahead and grab Hurts later on, right? With all that being said, I do have a lot of Hurts on my teams. I was grabbing them in the second round of Superflex drafts last year just for this situation. So I'm glad I really don't have to make that choice.
All right. It's all about value here for me. I'm with you on everything that you said. Absolutely, positively with you on everything you said. But here's my take on Hurts. Hurts never got to warm up with the first team last year. Remember, he came in the middle of the season when Wentz got hurt. He didn't really have time, which is the excuse that everybody's making for Tua. So let's just make the same excuse for Hurts. He came in midseason, and he really didn't have a number one receiver, which they went and got for him in Devontae Smith. You know what I'm saying? He had Fulgham and then a couple other guys that stepped up here and there, like Ward and stuff. But he didn't really have the time to practice with these guys. Another thing that I don't like is something that you mentioned. Kyler Murray, they're getting to Kyler Murray already. The guy's not as quick as Michael Vick was when he first got into the league, that nobody can touch Michael Vick or RG3 before RG3 messed up his knee, that he was getting away from everybody. Kyler Murray does not have that. So it's only a matter of time before he gets hit again. And he's already been quote saying that he wants to go play baseball. So maybe he's having second thoughts on the NFL. I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to retire or anything, but I'm saying he's putting his chips in other places because maybe he's not durable for the NFL. I personally am not picking him up at the 2 or the 3 in any Superflex draft. I don't want him. I'd rather pick up a position player or pick up another quarterback like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen before him, because it's just I just don't see the durability in him, and I already see those defensive linemen getting to him. As far as Jalen Hurts, I'm on the hype train. They got him Devontae Smith. He's gonna have Goddard there. Still has Fulgham. Yeah, he's got his running backs. I think he's gonna get to do his mini camp and all that stuff with them. And the offseason, he's gonna have the ability to get more prepared for the offseason. And you could be right. If he busts, then yeah, and they have a losing record and they get a really good pick, then he may be gone. This might be his make or break year. But if he makes it, you look like a genius. On the other hand, obviously Murray is the safer way to go. He has proven himself, and he's just, for me, he's just a gamble to pick him up. Where he's such a gamble. I think that you can get so much more with that pick. I don't know exactly, how much he's going to be able to run. Remember, he can't really see that good over that line. He does have a gun, but if he can't see over the line, he starts getting hit and it starts shaking his confidence. I don't think that I'm going to go out on a hot take and say I don't think that Kyler Murray's going to be ranked second next year. I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? So let's just move on. Let's go to the second question here. You gave me one of these guys on the would you rather. So I'm going to make another comparison here because they're right back to back. And your comparison when you did the would you rather was back to back too. So I'm going to go here with Cam Akers or J.K. Dobbins. These guys are basically in the same ranking. J.K.'s currently RB9 and Akers is at the RB10. Who do you go with here, buddy?
I mean, for me, this one is super easy, bro. It's super easy. It's Akers for me, and it's not really close at all. And to be honest, the Dynasty world agrees with me, bro. I mean, if you're looking at startup ADP, Akers is going in the first, early second of startups as the RB6, and Dobbins isn't being grabbed until the late second as the RB14. Now, To me, this isn't about talent, right? I think they're both similarly talented, and in fact, I would probably even give the nod to Dobbins on that front. But in this case, to me, when we're talking two running backs, it's weird. But the fact of the matter is, when you talk Akers versus Dobbins, we're talking Lamar Jackson. When a pass play isn't there, Lamar is not looking to check it down to his running backs. He's looking to run. When a pass play breaks down for Stafford, Stafford's not running anywhere, man. All right, he's a statue. He's gonna hit. He's gonna get it out to Akers in the flat, and Akers gonna shake and bake and get the yards and the touchdowns. Then you got to deal with Gus Edwards, bro, who is a
Hmm.
good running back in his own right. He has a career average, a career yards per carry of five yards per carry, bro, and he's gonna be stealing some groundwork, possibly even some goal line work. So when you look at the whole piece, Dobbins is gonna be losing groundwork to Gus and to Lamar, and he's not gonna be catching passes. Akers, on the other hand, is gonna be catching passes. The coach has been talking him up all off season. We saw what he did in the playoffs when they gave him run. Even with Henderson there, who I think is a good back, and who I'm grabbing late in drafts as well as a lottery ticket. I think Henderson's going to be getting some work, but I see the split being 60-40 in favor of Akers. So you're getting 60% of the work. You're getting the catching work, goal line work. It's Akers for me, no doubt.
I agree 100% with you on that. That's my guy. No shade to Dobbins. He's no slouch, but it's just the situation that he's in. I agree with you 100% on that. Besides the fact that I also agree that Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus is gonna, I mean, you said it. He averages 5 yards a carry per his career. He's gonna take a lot of those red zones. So, I mean, is JK gonna be touchdown dependent? You just said it because Lamar's not checking down. I mean, he's gonna get his carries, but who do you think they're gonna give the ball to when it comes down to the goal line work, man? You know what I'm saying? He's Gus the Bus all the way. That's why he's called Gus the Bus. So unless Jackson starts checking it down to the right to the running backs, which I just don't see him doing. Akers all the way for me, man. All right, so let's just move ahead and go out to our last Would You Rather. These two guys, I know you like them both. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say AJ Brown or Calvin Ridley. AJ Brown is currently the WR3 wide receiver 3, and Ridley is the wide receiver 9 on DVLF. So who you going with?
And you're right, bro. I love them both. I mean, and I don't think you can be a dynasty player or a fantasy football player and see those two names and be like, I don't like them, right? You gotta like them both, bro. But the question is, who would you rather have? And for me, it's easy. It's AJ Brown, right? AJ Brown is 23. Calvin Ridley's 26. AJ Brown is playing with a better quarterback, a younger quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, who's 32, while Ridley's playing with Ryan, who's 36. AJ Brown is 6 feet, 226 pounds, and runs a 4.49. Calvin Ridley 6 feet also, but only weighs 189 pounds. Okay, and while Ridley ran a faster 40, if you adjust for the size for Brown's size, his size speed score is 109.7%. That's 90th percentile. Ridley's is 98%, 64th percentile. Okay, per player profile. So you can love them both. You could want them both on your team. But if I had Ridley, and I would trade Ridley in a first plus to get Brown, and I'll walk away feeling like I got a steal, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. AJ Brown's my guy, bro. That kid's size, his speed, and I just think Tannehill's just gonna get better. And with the addition of Julio Jones, talked about this in previous podcasts, it's just gonna open up the field more for him. You know what I mean? I mean, who do you double there? Do you double AJ? Do you double Julio? You can't double anybody. And if you double, then you got a problem up the middle with my boy Frisker, and then you can't stack the box because you got Henry, so you got the play action in full effect. Oh man, I told you this is I'm all the way with this offense. It's all cylinders for me. I think that Henry gets rested and they pass more, and Henry still has a great season, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that this balances out the overuse of Henry. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And it just shows me that they're gonna pass more. And like I said, it's gonna open up the offense. Ridley, man, he's no slouch. I just don't like Matt Ryan. And if he couldn't get the ball in the end zone to Julio Jones the whole time he was there. I don't think Calvin really has not even half the body that Julio Jones has, and he's even half the player that Julio Jones is in his prime. I'm not saying that Calvin really, is it can't come close to what Julio Jones' ceiling is. I'm just saying that his body type isn't built for it. So I'm gonna go with AJ Brown here just because it's upside, upside, upside all the way, man. So yeah, that's basically this week's Would You Rather segment for me and B on the Dynasty Life Miami podcast. Let's move on. Doing the AFC and NFC North divisions this week.
We are, bro. We are. Hey, I appreciate you pulling up those questions for me, bro. And I'll have a couple for you next week, bro. We'll keep taking turns.
Oh,
But
by
yeah,
the way, great answers, man. Great answers. I love the breakdown. You elaborated. You explained yourself. I didn't disagree with you on any of those, dude. So great job, man.
it's what I do, bro. It's what I do, dude. So let's get, like you said, let's move on, bro. We're gonna head into the AFC North. I did a lot of talking there, so we're gonna have you start off this round. You have the Ravens and the Browns. You're gonna go with those two. Who you starting with?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Ravens. They won Rashad Bateman with the 27th pick in the first round. Bateman is the fifth receiver selected in the first round behind Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, and Kadarius Toney. Bateman just played 5 games his last season at Minnesota, but in his final year with the team in 2019, he caught 60 passes for 1,219 yards and 11 touchdowns and earning first-team All-Big Ten honors. Bateman joined Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, Jalen Moore, James Porsche, along options at receiver with the Ravens for quarterback Lamar Jackson. Bateman is the fifth receiver Baltimore has drafted in the past 3 seasons, and it's the second time in 3 seasons the general manager has used his top pick on a wideout, joining Marquise Hollywood Brown. In saying that, I'm still giving this kid a chance. He's massively dropping in rookie drafts because of this issue. He's known for his route running, making tough catches in traffic. Bateman is also has breakaway speed and is a threat to turn even short throws into long gains. So he's got some yak in him. Another weapon for quarterback Lamar Jackson is about to arrive. Bateman impressed people by running a 4.41 in the 40-yard dash at his pro day. His speed shows up in game days too, so he's really fast on the field, man. I mean, if you can pick this kid up and he's dropping in rookie drafts, pick this guy up. He's a good weapon. You never know if he's going to translate. I know the Baltimore Ravens suck at picking wide receivers, but I think the fifth time might be the charm. I can definitely see Bateman being a solid fit for Baltimore and even being Jackson's breakout receiver. So let's keep it moving here. Baltimore had not 1 pick, but 2 picks in the first round. The second pick they had in the first round was the 31st. They went with Adafi Owe out of Penn State. This guy fits the profile for Baltimore's defense, period. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to explain to you why. Always physical attributes are off the charts, man. He's 6'5", 257 pounds, and he ran a 40-yard dash in a 4.37. When I tell you that this guy ran a faster 40 than Rashad Bateman, yes, you heard me, faster than Bateman, okay? This pick was a little bit of gamble considering Owe didn't have a sack in the final season at Penn State. He didn't record a sack in the last 7 games. He had 6.5 tackles for a loss, which is good because that means he's good at disrupting the backfield. You know what I mean? But since he didn't have any sacks, but he did register 7 sacks in 17 games for his career in college. So we'll see if it translates. I can tell you this: he's a fast dude at linebacker, and he's going to disrupt the backfield. And let me tell you, that's something that's a stat that you need to be looking at with linebackers too. It's not only all sacks, gentlemen. Tackles for losses are a big deal. So keep your eye on that. Then with the 94th pick, they went with Ben Cleveland, a guard out of Georgia, 6'6", 357-pound guard. He stands out of a crowd, let me tell you. 3rd-round pick is getting noticed for more than just his massive size. However, Cleveland has named the Ravens' biggest standout in the offseason thus far. So he's been making noise in the offseason, so get ready. Now we go ahead and they went out with the 104th pick in the 3rd round with Brandon Stevens. This kid was originally highly recruited running back. He was a running back coming out of high school who chose UCLA over the major programs. And after 2 years at running back, he transferred to SMU and flipped over to quarterback. So we got a lot of players that in this draft that have flipped, positions, which is dope. I think that's cool. I think it shows a lot of versatility in the player. So his size is 6'1", 215 pounds. His competitiveness and physicality you would expect from a former running back at cornerback. So it's just imagine a running back playing cornerback. Physicality's there. We might want to watch out for this guy. With the 131st pick, they went Tylan Wallace. During his 4 years at Oklahoma State, Wallace displayed elite ability with 205 receptions, 3,434 yards, and 27 touchdowns. He finished his senior year with 922 receiving yards and over 50 yards per reception, tearing his ACL. Okay. He electrified the Cowboys' offense with explosive speed and ability to stretch the field. This kid, depending on how he comes back, he could be a sleeper. He's being picked up in the fourth, fifth round. Sometimes he's dropping into the free agency, so keep your eye on him. They had 3 picks in the fifth. They went with Sean Wade, cornerback out of Ohio State. Then they went Darlin Hayes, defensive end out of Notre Dame. And with the 171st pick finishing up, they went Ben Mason, fullback, Michigan. I expect a better, well-rounded season from the Ravens. I expect everyone to be better, especially Lamar Jackson. So more consistency from the former Twitter darling or your boy Mark Andrews, like in 2019. I expect them to have something similar to that season. Pick up the Baltimore backfield in Dobbins and Edwards. If you already have Dobbins, it doesn't hurt to go get Edwards, because if Dobbins gets hurt, he's gonna blow up. He's gonna get the work. And like my boy Brandon said, he's averaged more than 5 yards a carry for his career. So it's an automatic upgrade for you if Dobbins goes down. This is a run-heavy team as well. So if you got Dobbins and you can get Edwards for a third or fourth, I would definitely do that. Depth is the name of the game, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. There you go. And yeah, their defense is going to be stacked again, bro. And when you have a good defense, control the clock, you run the ball, like you said. So I'm with you there. You know, one thing that you heard me before talk about Bateman, bro. I think he has all the talents in the world. He's a route running technician. He could be the wide receiver run out of this rookie draft, and it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe he's the key to unlock Lamar, bro. So keep your fingers crossed, bro, and let's move on to the Browns, brother. What you got going over there? What's cooking?
Well, you know me, man. Personally, I've always watched the Browns. I like watching the Browns and the Bengals. I've always like the first football game I ever watched was a Super Bowl with the Bengals and the 49ers. So I didn't resonate with the 49ers. I resonated with Ickey Woods and the Bengals. You know what I mean? And Boomer Esiason. So I've always liked them because they were the first team I ever watched. So and Cleveland too. You know what I mean? I've always loved the dog pound. I love the way they play. You know, they're super gritty. So let's get into them. They had the 26th pick. They went Greg Newsome, the second cornerback out of Northwestern. He's a 6 foot, 192 pounds cornerback. First team Big Ten selection, third team All American after the 2020 season. He just allowed 31.6% completion rate to throws in his direction. Okay. He did not allow completion his way on third down. Pretty impressive. In the second round, with the 52nd pick, they went Jeremiah Osu Koromoa, linebacker, Notre Dame. There's nothing. This guy won the Dick Butkus Award as a type linebacker in college. First team All American, led Notre Dame with 11 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, while also recording 62 tackles and a second and a half, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups, and 12 starts. Just to add in his 2019 campaign, he led the team with 80 tackles and 13 and a half tackles for a loss. So once again, tackles for a loss being an importance on defense. For all your IDPs guys out there, this is a gem for you guys. You know, I think you should look into this guy right here. This guy's definitely a tackle machine. I think he'll improve, you know, in the NFL with the sack situation, especially being around other vets and other star players on that team. Come on, that defense is stacked. He should learn some stuff out of those guys there. Saying I'm not worried about it. I think he's going to get better in the NFL. With the 91st pick, they went Anthony Schwartz in the third round. This guy's highly considered in the Dynasty community to be a sleeper. He's one of the fastest players in the draft this year, and everybody likes him. He started games in all 3 of his seasons at Auburn. He posted the best numbers in 2020, catching 54 passes, 636 yards, and 3 touchdowns. For his career, Schwartz caught 117 passes with 1,433 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also rushed 42 times for 323 yards and 7 touchdowns. So this guy not only catches the ball, he's not only a possession or slot guy, but this guy had 42 rushes for 323 yards and 7 touchdowns. Let that marinate. Now, I'm starting to see why people are regarding this guy as a sleeper, man. He's in the 4th or 5th round, and sometimes he's not even getting drafted. It wouldn't hurt to take a flyer on this guy, especially with your FA dollars. I say you do it. If you're looking at somebody to pick up and you need an extra and you got a roster spot that's open for a rookie or in your taxi squad, I say do it, man. In the 4th round, With the 110th pick, they win James Hudson, tackle out of Cincinnati, defensive lineman at Michigan. Hudson converted into an offensive lineman, another converted player in Michigan before transferring to Cincinnati. In the 4th round, they had Tommy Togiai, defensive tackle, Ohio State. Togiai appeared in 33 games over 3 seasons with the Buckeyes. The Pocatello, Idaho native was the best 2020, earning second All Big Ten honors after recording 23 tackles and 4.5 sacks for a loss and 3 sacks all 3 games. All 3 sacks, came in one game against Penn State. So he actually got his 3 sacks against a really good college team. In the 5th, with the 153rd pick, they picked up Tony Fields, the second linebacker, West Virginia. Then they went Richard LeCounte III, safety out of Georgia. I'm expecting the Browns to pick up where they left off. They're going to have a better season barring any major setbacks. I'm anxious to see if they trade Odell Beckham and who takes his place. And does Shorts become a slot there? Does he become an instant impact? Does he start? Does he take time? We'll definitely have to see. He's an excellent pickup in the later rounds in the FA market.
No, and the Browns. I mean, first we talked Ravens, great defense, loves to run the ball, and what Browns, same thing, right? Great defense, loves to run the ball. I like the Browns as a team, man. Right? I think they're a dark horse, possible Super Bowl candidate. People have been talking, but fantasy wise, not so much, man. I like Chubb, and I think he's a lock for double-digit touchdowns, but he's got no upside as a pass catcher. That's what Kareem Hunt's there for. I think the most targets Chubb had in a season so far is 36, and he's going as a first-round pick or maybe beginning of the second. And for that kind of cost, I'm out, bro. And I'd rather grab players like Akers or Swift instead. Hunt,
big time.
Hunt is super overrated in my eyes. Before the season starts this year, he's going to be 26. That means by next year, he'll be 27, bro. And we all know 27-year-old running backs, we don't want them. And this guy, Chubb went down last year, right? You draft Hunt. What do you draft Hunt for? You draft him to play him for flex, and you hope that, hey, if Chubb goes down, I got a league winner. But guess what, man? Chubb went down for like 5-6 weeks, and he didn't look very good. Hunt didn't run away with the job. Hunt didn't look like a league winner. He looked like a semi-above average running back who's going to be 27 by the time season starts next year. He's overrated. I'm out on him, man. And to be honest, I've never been an OBJ fan. I think he's been living off that nasty cash that he had for years, and he just doesn't. He's never had the juice in my eyes ever since he's had all these lower body injuries. He's just coming off another injury. Landry doesn't have the juice anymore. So I love the Browns as a team. I think as a team they're gonna go far. But if I'm trying to invest my fantasy stock, my dynasty stock in players, I don't want any Browns, and that's just me.
Oh, I feel you on that. I mean, to be honest with you, I won a lot of games with starting both Hunt and Chubb. I have them on the same team. I picked up the backfield, and I won a lot of games starting Chubb at the running back and starting Hunt at the flex. So I can't agree with you there. I started both of them, and I won a lot of games. I got into the playoffs like that. So that the fact that I got that production from both of them, both being running backs on the same team, that says a lot. Yeah, they're not really a passing team, so I'm more with you on the wide receiver part, but they're gonna run the ball, so they're both gonna eat, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just more worried about. I'm not picking up Mayfield. I love Mayfield as a quarterback. I love his personality, but it's just that team is a running team, and you don't know what you're gonna get. And I know Mayfield's capable of throwing 3-4 touchdowns a game, but that's just not their style. Not only that, they have a mess at tight end. They have Hooper, they have Brian. And to me, Brian looked kind of better than Hooper last year in some instances. You know what I'm saying? Some flashes. He looked more up. But then again, they traded for Hooper, so they got to start him. So, yeah, I get you. I will be trying to stay away from certain players, but not the whole team.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna go into the Bengals, right? That's where I'm gonna be picking up here. And
I love
hey, bro, everything that the Browns are, the Bengals aren't, bro. Right? And the Bengals, bad defense. They don't run the ball well, and they throw and they throw and they throw. And for that, I love the Bengals. I love the Bengals this year for fantasy purposes. I wasn't a fan of the chase over Sewell. I don't think anybody was, but what's done is done. And they now have a wide receiver core of Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Good luck covering that freaking
nice.
that team right there, bro. Chase is going as a wide receiver 10 in startups. To me, that's a bit steep.
Crazy for me.
he hasn't done anything yet. Now, could he be great? Sure, but wide receiver 10 that you're drafting him at his ceiling, and you're leaving no room for mistake, bro. So as much as I like him, I'm passing on Chase at wide receiver 10. Now, what we're talking, Higgins, wide receiver 21, that's a value. Okay, okay, and don't get me started. Boyd, he's going as the wide receiver 40. Boyd,
Disrespected.
disrespected, bro. Boyd could be a wide receiver 2 this year, and I wouldn't be the least bit shocked if you're getting him at wide receiver 40 prices. Um, Another year, bro, and another year we're all jumping on the Joe Mixon breakout hype train. It's coming, and God help me, man, I'm back aboard. I'm back aboard for this another round. Gio's gone. All right, so that means I watched a lot of Bengals games last year. While Gio didn't do much, they kept putting Gio in the game in passing situations. They put him in the game on goal line situations. They had him running the 2-minute offense, and that those are just empty snaps, empty routes, and those are routes and hopefully snaps that are going to go to Mixon, who hopefully will be getting done a lot more work with a lot more done with that type of work than Gio was. So Gio's gone, which is great. We have a better O line, right? They have some people coming back from injury. They drafted some O line this year in the second and third rounds, I believe. Burrow's coming in the second year. I know he's dealing with with that bad nasty knee injury, but all reports show that he's on track to come back. Burrow's got some sneaky athleticism, right? He was running a little bit in the beginning of last year. I think he'll come back to that, but it won't be until either the end of this year or early next year. So you're gonna have this guy Burrow, knees still getting some work, needing to recover. He's gonna be throwing the ball more. That means dump offs to Joe Mixon. That means to Higgins, that Boyd, that's Chase. Again, they have a bad defense. To me, I think this whole offense is ready to blow up. I'm buying as many pieces as I can. I think Higgins is a good buy, and so is Boyd. If you look back this time or mid season last year, you couldn't buy Higgins. At the end of last season, Higgins, you couldn't buy him, right? That's before Chase came. Everybody thought Higgins is the best. He's gonna be the beast. And all of a sudden they draft Chase. Higgins drops down to wide receiver 21. Again, he's the same player. He's the same player with the same skills that everybody was buying or wanted to buy at the end of last year. And so you shouldn't be scared away of a player like Chase, who's very good in his own right. Don't get me wrong, and he's probably the alpha out of the two. But you can still – Higgins is a value right now. So I'm buying Higgins before people realize how super good he is. And just a real quick super sleeper for this team is Chris Evans, man. Michigan played the same reason we like Nico Collins. He played at Michigan. Harbaugh really wasn't doing much with him. It's the same reason we like Chris Evans. He was super underutilized. Has real nice hands. There's been a lot of good talk coming out of him, out of camp. Gio's gone. Mixon's the starter, but the only other guy on the team is Samaje Perine, who's slow as fuck, bro. So for me, grab Chris Evans in the in the end of your rookie drafts, or even as a free agent.
Bro, I'm with you 100%. I've been doing that with Chris Evans. Just the hype that this kid had coming out of high school is good enough for me. Like I said, you got to give these kids playing for Harbaugh a pass, man. At least a few years. I think around the right personnel and the right people, this kid could be next up in line if Mixon doesn't work out. I agree with you. Everything you said, I'm just not with it. I'm not with the whole thing on Mixon, bro. I think Mixon's gonna get a lot. He's gonna eat because he's gonna get a lot more passes, but my brother, I watched those games last year, and they were horrendous to watch because that guy could not get past the line, bro. Like he could not.
If the O line improves, he gets more holes and he gets more.
Oh no, not only that, but I'm gonna agree with you. They kept sticking Bernard in the game at all the wrong times. Bro, them not going Sewell and I don't think that line's improving, bro. I think they're trying to accommodate for not going Sewell in the later rounds, and they're not gonna do that. Another thing that concerns the shit out of me is Burrow's knee, bro. Did you see that guy's brace? The brace that he has on? Did you see him walk into the facility? Bro, that shit doesn't look right. His knee does not look like it's ready to go. So, in saying that, I know that he might be all right because it's going to be a fast-paced passing offense. Go out and get Higgins. Don't go and get Chase at the 10. That is, like Brandon said, you're drafting him at his ceiling, and there's no room for error there. He couldn't have said it better than that. I guarantee you he will not be there next year. You got to give these guys, you got to see these guys on the field first. Higgins, I'm all the way with. And Boyd, huh, let me tell you something. He's being majorly disrespected right now. And another little sleeper that I'm going to tell you, they not only went and got Chase for Burrow, but they went and got his tight end in LSU, which is Randy Moss's son. He might not translate very fast, but he's still liked by Burrow. So they might put him in. He might be a red zone target. Blocking's a little iffy. That's why he's not really being mentioned right now. But if he can get his blocking up to par and he can get in some snaps from Uzama and from Sample, because Uzama's coming from an Achilles tear. He's not bad at tight end, but Achilles injuries, usually when players get injured there, they don't come back the same. So he's available on the free agent market. You can get that guy for $1. It's not even a mission. If you don't have any tight ends and you're looking for sleeper tight ends, or like I said, your taxi squad's open and you got a room for one more and you need a tight end and there's nothing available, go out and get him. Randy Moss's son, he's been around the game the whole time, and maybe the second team is a charm for him. He did play with Burrow in college, so that's a major, major plus.
Yeah, and that's why they grabbed him, right? So that Burrow can feel comfortable with the players around him. So hey, there's at the end of free agent people throwing darts. That's what the whole purpose is, right? So I agree. If you have a spot on your bench, especially tight end premium, throw a dart at Moss. See what happens in the offseason. You can always drop him and pick somebody else up when the first waiver wire runs on week 1, right?
Yeah, and let me tell you, you know, you could be right. If that line is just half as better than it was last year, boy, let me tell you, that mixed in train might be popping.
Well, and
And
don't forget they had a first round lineman. They drafted him and he got injured in like the first or second week. He was injured the whole rest of the year, and he's coming back. So they have some talent. It's almost like they have an extra first round pick coming back. So we've all been burned by Mixon in the past. But if you're on the offense, if you're on for the Bengals offense, by definition, Mixon has to eat, right? So there's worse people out there, and you can get them in the late second round. So I'm going for it. But moving on, bro. Right, we're gonna go into the Steelers, man, and I got something to get off my chest, and I don't think people are gonna like to hear it, man. But and I know you probably are not gonna like to hear it because I know you grabbed them you grabbed them at the 101 in a draft that we're in. But something about Najee bothers me, bro. Something about Najee bothers me. I don't know if it's because he's a 23-year-old rookie running back. I don't know if it's he didn't run at his pro days. He didn't lift. He didn't do his 40 time. He didn't do anything. I don't know if it's because Big Ben's declining at a rapid pace. They got a suspect O line or what, bro. And I know I'm supposed to I want Najee. I know he's gonna get the work. I know the one thing that's for sure is that they drafted him in the first round and he's gonna get volume, and volume is king. I get that. But I see a lot of Trent Richardson in him, bro. There's something that I see in this guy that reminds me of him, and I don't have any analytics to back it up. It's not like I'm crunching numbers, and I can tell you for sure that he's Trent Richardson, but just my eyes tell me something. So he's probably going to be good, but my gut tells me buyer beware, bro. Buyer beware. And you can pivot. If you're in a startup draft, players going after him are Gibson, bro. I'd rather have Antonio Gibson, bro, than Najee Harris. And in all honesty, I might even go CEH over it. And I'll grab those two, and I'm happy to not worry about it, bro.
yeah, I'll go Gibson over him, but I'm not gonna go CEH. Like, I'm not gonna do that. What I'm worried about is the Steelers' future after this year,
Yeah,
because
well,
I don't think that Ben has enough to be in a tank. Ben's like one hit away from just retirement. Haskins, I mean, do I have to like elaborate on Haskins? You
yeah.
know what
So,
I'm,
yeah.
yeah, I mean that's not gonna be the answer. You already know Mason Rudolph's not the answer. So this worries me. This worries me more for the passing game than the running game, because at the end of the day, he's a big boy, and when they're rushing, bro, Big Ben's gonna throw it to him, bro. He did it. He's done it repeatedly with Le'Veon Bell and all his other running backs. That's his scapegoat. But at the end of the day, you have a point, man. Where's this team going? Where's the future going? That's what concerns me. I think Najee's a great prospect in rookie drafts. Obviously, with the 1-1 or the 1-2, if I'm getting him. I just don't. I just don't like him over ETN right now. I just don't. I don't know what's going on with Jacksonville. I mean, I'm not saying ETN is not going to pass him, but I got to see what Myers going to do with that team. I mean, Myers is going to do with that team. You know what I mean? I don't think that James Robinson is going to fade away by any means whatsoever. So I've seen ETN starting to drop in drafts already because I think people are starting to come to terms with this. There's like you don't get James Robinsons every year in drafts. Like I said, like where's this team going? I'm very concerned with them. I mean, they have made some moves at O-line. I believe they picked up a couple guys in the O-line to strengthen up the O-line. I mean, nothing
Hey,
major,
hey,
but
hey,
better
hey,
than what they've had, you know?
are you stealing? You're stealing my stuff, man. I'm not done. I got stuff to
Oh,
say about the Steelers, brother.
my bad, sir, my bad.
You're,
I thought you were just done with them. My bad,
no,
my
man.
bad.
That was my Najee take, bro. You gotta
all
let me
right,
keep going, bro. You got.
all right, go for it. My bad, brother.
All right, bro. So yeah, so like I said, Najee. If I could get Gibson over Najee, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And again, startup drafts.
Yeah, startup drafts. I'm
Gibson,
with you on that.
Gibson is going after Najee. So just do with that what you will.
That's crazy.
So next, I got Juju. Somehow, we're gonna move on to Juju. He's somehow still only 24 years old. He's going as the wide receiver 28, and I'm buying at those prices, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
buying. I'm not buying for this year, to be honest with you, because like we talked about it, Big Ben looks like he's probably done after this year, and if he's not, it's gonna be like having Drew Brees when they're past their prime. You may be better just growing off with someone else because Big Ben doesn't have it anymore. So he's gonna be a free agent after this year. He only signed a 1 year deal, and the only reason he signed a 1 year deal was because we all know that the salary cap went down big time due to COVID. There wasn't enough money going out. There wasn't a bunch of money being thrown his way. So he came back. He signed a 1 year deal. It's a proven year, and I think he's going to be somewhere else. And if he's going to go somewhere else, he's going to be signed to a big contract, and he's going to be the number one or the 1B, and he's going to go back to being a high end wide receiver too. So if I can get a 24-year-old wide receiver at a wide receiver 28 price with the anticipation of him going somewhere else and being the number one wide receiver, buy it and buy it now. Those are one of those moves that you make long term. He's not. I don't think he's going to help you win this year, but you can get again. You got to think dynasty. You got to think long term, right? 6'4", 238 pounds. And no, that's not the new tight end they drafted, bro. That's fucking Chase Claypool. 6'4", 238 pounds. Guy's a monster, bro. There was even talk of him going to change over to tight end at some point during last year's pro days and shit like that.
They
I
need it,
know,
man. They need it at that position. They've had nothing but inconsistencies at that position. Go ahead.
I know, but again, this guy Chase Claypool 6'4", 238. If he harnesses his ability as a wide receiver, I know he had a down second part of the season. He came on like gangbusters in the first part, catching touchdowns, killing the game. I think he had a 3 touchdown game or some crazy number like that. I think it was like a 3-4 touchdown game last year.
Bro, his first game that he went off like that, I had him in my taxi squad, and I was like, ah! I took him immediately out of there. But yeah, he went off for that first game, and I was like, damn. But yeah, go
No,
ahead, man.
no, he crushed it. He crushed it. So again, the problem is we don't know who the QB is going to be next year, right? But in a player like Claypool, when you're buying wide receiver talent, um, people like that, he can just go up and get the ball. So he doesn't need a super accurate quarterback. He doesn't need someone to put it on the money. He can go up and get those 50-50 balls, bully the quarterback. So I love Claypool as a talent. I worry he's going to be much more boom and bust than I like to have on my team. Like you said, he blows up one game, you take him out your taxi, you start him. The next game he gets 7 points, and then you're like, oh, do I put him in, put him out? Next game he gets you 33 points. So he's an excellent best ball guy, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
excellent best ball guy, and he's one of those type of players that if you have a wide receiver 1 and a wide receiver 2 on your team, he's a great wide receiver 3 that you could put in there because he's the type of guy that can give you week winning performances. But if you have a strong wide receiver 1 or somewhat a strong wide receiver 2, they can absorb his down weeks. So that's a good. If you're talking roster construction, he's a great wide receiver to grab, a wide receiver 3 to grab. And he's currently going as a wide receiver 24, and I still think there's plenty of room for him to go back up. One of the other guys I want to talk about, obviously, is Deontay, right? Extremely polarizing player. A lot of talk about his drops last year. A lot of talks about his concentration. Is he just a product of Big Ben peppering him with targets, or is he a guy who's commanding the targets? We don't know. We really don't know yet. But what I will tell you, he's 5'10" and 183 pounds, and he's reminding a lot of folks about another 5'10", 184-pound receiver who played with the Steelers before in AB. He's a really good route runner. He's currently going as the wide receiver 20. I think it's a fair price. And again, I really think there's room to grow there as well. What we need is a QB, right? You touched on it briefly. Is Haskins the answer? If he's the question, I'm afraid. If he's the answer, I'm afraid what the question is, bro. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. The only other guy we're talking about is Pat Frymouth. That's that rookie tight end they drafted in the second round. People forget that, man. Second round draft capital. Okay, he as good as he would have been the rookie one tight end in any draft that didn't have Kyle Pitts in it. He's a good player. He's worth a late second round pick in tight end premium leagues. I just don't expect much from him this year. People forget that Ebron is still there. Ebron is he's a touchdown magnet. He's got bad hands, but people keep signing him. He's a big body. I don't think Frymouth is going to beat him out this year. So if you're drafting Frymouth and you think he's going to play this year, that's not the move. You get him, throw him on your taxi. Don't even try to rely on him. And if someone drafts him early in their draft and you start to hear them getting frustrated, that's the type of guy you buy at the end of the season or towards the end of the season when he's not getting any points from him. You can throw a Higbee at him. You can throw somebody else and get a guy like Frymouth on the team who is going to be a good tight end in this league.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. It's gonna take time. That team is in denial of being in rebuild, basically. That's
Yeah.
what I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're denying trying to go because of the coach, because of Tomlin. But they need to rebuild, man. I mean, you have no quarterback. Your line's a little shaky. You got some great talent on the offensive side of the ball in your running back position, and all three of your wide receivers got talent. They're really good. I think Juju's being majorly slept on. I think what's affecting Juju, bro, this is just my take. This is just me like thinking about stupid shit. But I think that somewhere along the line, Juju and Ben Roethlisberger caught beef somewhere, bro. Because it does not make any fucking type of sense at all that the first year that Juju was there, he was getting all the fucking work, and all of a sudden now he's not getting shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me, that seems like something personal because Penn was peppering him with targets his rookie years. Tell me no.
But you have to remember that AB was there, bro. So AB was pulling a lot of the double coverage, a lot of the safety help, a lot of the number one cornerbacks. AB was pulling it. So Juju, who's a good talent, I said he's a good talent, was running loose, right? Then all of a sudden AB leaves. Juju now has to be the number one guy, and maybe he just doesn't have that. Maybe he doesn't have.
Maybe he wasn't ready for it. Maybe he wasn't ready for that type of role. But I think he's good. I think he is good enough, and I agree with you 100%. Go grab that guy because if he leaves Pittsburgh and he lands on a team with a good quarterback, bro, that guy's gonna blow the fuck up. He came into the league at 19, didn't he?
Super young, 19 or 20 for sure.
People don't get picked up at 19 if they're not good or if they don't have an upside. And if Pittsburgh took a flyer on them, I think you should too. For future purposes, like Brandon said, maybe not for right now, but like I said, if he gets moved and he goes to a better team with a good quarterback, it's win-win for you. You're smooth sailing there. So keep your eye on him.
Yeah.
As far as Claypool, bro, that guy, all I would like to see out of him is a little bit more consistency. As far as like you said, he scores 30 points one game, then he'll score you another like 7 the next. If he can get the consistency up, I love their talent on the offensive side of the ball. But like I said, it seems like they're a team in denial that they're in rebuild mode. You know what I'm saying? They're in denial. They don't want to go. They don't want to say, "Oh, we're in rebuild mode." Just don't. But I think they need it. Their defense isn't bad. I mean, they got a Fitzpatrick, a safety. He's good. I mean, they've always had a pretty good defense. But like I said, it gets to the point where you need to like either rebuild or you need to do something dramatically. And if you don't have a quarterback to come in after this one leaves, I think there's only one thing left to do is rebuild, start from scratch.
And that's why they messed up grabbing Najee in the first round, right? Like if you're a rebuilding team or you need to be a rebuilding team, you don't grab a running back, right? You grab an O lineman, you grab a quarterback, you do something else.
And that's why I say they're in denial because they can't.
Yeah.
We're podcasters. We're not professionals. We don't get paid to run teams. We're just giving our opinion and expressing what we think from a dynasty perspective. And yeah, I think that they're in denial. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how they do this year. I mean, hopefully Brent can actually play every game this season, and he still has it in him. He's had his games where he goes over 30 points and he goes off. Older you get, it's just harder for you to do that and to maintain that shape. And Ben's been banged up. He's got bad elbow, bad knees. It's not easy.
No. And speaking of teams in denial, man, I think we're moving into the NFC North, and you're gonna be kicking off with the Lions, right?
Yeah, you already know. I'm super excited to see the Lions working on their future, man. For me, they got the steal in the first round and possibly the whole draft at the 7 with Penny Sewell. He opted out of the 2020 season, but was the Outland Trophy winner and Associated Press Pac-12 Co-Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. He allowed just 1 sack combined in 2018 and 2019 and 1,376 snaps. Top graded offensive lineman in Pro Football Focus history since 2014. Unanimous first team All-American 2019. Morris Trophy winner. Football Pac-12 top lineman 2019. Polynesian College Football Co-Player of the Year. AP Pac-12 Co-Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. I smell automatic upside for Swift. Obviously, surprised the Bengals didn't get him. We already talked about Miami not getting him, but if these guys are going rebuild, you just talked about Pittsburgh, what they should have done. And that's what the Lions seem to be doing with this pick, Brandon.
No, definitely. Right? They're building it up from the inside out, and that's how you have to do it, man.
I think it's an automatic upgrade for Swift and even Jamal Williams. Not only that, Goff likes to check it down to his running back. He likes his tight ends and his running back. So it's good for Goff. It's definitely good for Goff. In the second round with the 41st pick, they went Levi, and excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Onwuzurike, defensive tackle, Washington. This guy is as physical as it gets. He likes the contact, and it's a great addition to the Lions defense. He just likes to hit people. The third round, they went with Adam McNeil, DT, NC State, beefing up that D. I like it. They need to fill holes all over the place. If they rebuild, I'll fill all these holes, In the fourth, they went with the highly discussed Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver out of USC. St. Brown had 178 catches for 2,270 yards and 16 touchdowns over 3 years with the Trojans. Highly anticipated to become the number one there, and it's wide open. Who knows what might happen there. In the fourth round, they acquired Derek Barnes, linebacker out of Purdue, and in the seventh, they added running back depth with Jamar Jefferson, running back out of Oregon. I like what the future's looking like for Detroit. The question for me here is who takes the Bulls by the horn and becomes the number one wide receiver out there? Is it going to be Perryman, Tyrell Williams, Cephas, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Surratt? That's going to be an interesting thing to see here. For sure, though, you guys need to go get Hawkinson in all formats because that guy he has safety blanket written all over him for Goff. So you have to get this guy on all formats because he's getting, and I'm going to say it again, I've said it before, he's getting at least 120 targets and more. There's nobody else there to take targets away from him. At the end of the day, that's what you want in your tight end. You want tight ends that have volume, and he's going to get that volume.
No, and you know me, bro. I'm a Hawk believer, bro, and I have him in a lot of in a lot of leagues. Drafted him a lot in the first round in that when he came out in his rookie year. I think he's a great player, bro. And again, I think he's gonna eat. Like they don't have no one else to throw the ball to. You those receivers that you name, maybe Amon St. Brown comes up. I'm not a believer in Perryman, bro. Tyler Williams has had a 1,000-yard season. Could he do it again? Sure, but the guy can't stay healthy, man. He can't stay healthy.
For me, he had a chance to bust out wide open with the Raiders. There was nobody there. He was the number one there, and to be honest with you, he didn't really.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He got hurt.
So,
and so taking the flyer on any one of these rookies is definitely not a bad thing to do because you never know who the hell is the one that's going to pop off. For me, though, like I've already told you, for me, it's Cephas, bro. I got my money on Cephas, man. You know what I'm saying?
No, me too. Cephas is the cheap. Think about it. He's the cheapest guy. He's going the latest in the drafts, and he has just as much chance as anybody else to be the wide receiver one. So if you're on a bad team, you don't know who the wide receiver one's going to be. Then none of them are really that good. Why not go with the cheapest option, right? Because if he has the same odds to be a wide receiver one on the team than a guy who costs more, just go the cheaper version and see what happens. So for sure.
And and he had his flashes last year. He scored touchdowns. You already seen that he can score. You've already seen him on the field as opposed to guys that you haven't seen on the field that you don't know what's going to happen. Not only that, that whole outlook of that team is brand new. They got a brand new quarterback, a bunch of brand new wide receivers. So it's going to take some time. You know what I'm saying? For sure, though, Swift all the way to the moon, bro. I think the addition of Penny Sewell is going to help him out. He had nobody there last year, and he still got his points. So
Yeah.
the only thing that concerns me with Swift is they might shut him down early because let's be frank here, man. Oh, Detroit's not competing this year, so they might going into later on in the season, they might shut him down, and that's why I think Jamal Williams is a must grab. And if you can get the backfield, I think this is a good backfield to have because if anything happens to Swift, you've already seen what Jamal Williams can do, what he did in Green Bay. I'm not saying that the line in the Lions is better than Green Bay's, but he's gonna get the work.
Oh yeah, Jamal Williams is a great grab in the late rounds, and he's one of those players that you can put in the flex, and he's a possible league winner if Swift goes down for sure, man.
So now we're gonna go ahead and move down to the Bears.
Yeah, tell me what's going on, man.
Oh, with the trade up of the draft, my award goes to the Chicago Bears, man. They moved up. They picked up Justin Fields at the 11th spot. You already know, man. It's everyone to the moon for me. Nagy got his guy. I'm excited. This guy's throwing to A-Rob and your boy Mooney. This kid possesses all the intangibles Chicago needs to turn it all the way around. 6'3", 227 pounds. Fields comes to Chicago following a 2-year stay in Columbus where he complied a 20-2 record as a starter while completing 396 of 579 passing attempts for 5,373 yards and 63 touchdowns. I mean, if that doesn't say something, bro, I don't know what else is. Here in Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year honors after both of his seasons as a Buckeye, leading Ohio State to 2 Big Ten championships and 2 college football playoff appearances. Had one of the greatest statistical seasons in the history of Ohio State football as the first starter in 2019 when he completed 67.2% of his passes for 3,273 yards while accounting for 51 touchdowns, 41 passing, and 10 rushing. So this guy has the intangibles to do both. And he's a big boy. He became the first quarterback in Big Ten history with 40 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns in the same season. His 41-3 touchdown to interception ratio was the best in the country. Why is this guy not being talked about, guys? He had a passer efficiency rating of 181.43, which was the 3rd best nationally. Most valuable player of the Big Ten championship game after throwing for 299 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 34-21 come-from-behind win over number 8 Wisconsin. 1 week prior, he threw for 302 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 56-27 win at number 10 Michigan. He had several impressive national rankings, finished 3rd in touchdown passes with 41, total touchdowns with 51, had a passer efficiency rating of 181.43 and a number 11 completion percentage of .672 in 6 games against teams ranked in the final college football playoff poll, accounted for 17 touchdowns and averaged 280 yards per game of total offense. This kid has a cannon. He's big and he can run. Like, this is why we had this discussion about who actually has more upside, and I didn't necessarily believe that T-Law had the best upside because, bro, this kid, he's being knocked because he has epilepsy, bro. He takes medication for that. That's why he dropped down so much. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there could be other things, but that's why he dropped down because he has epilepsy. This guy has had his epilepsy out of control. It didn't affect his college career. So why is it affecting his NFL, where he ranks? Why is it affecting his ranking? I don't get some of this crap. This shit pisses. This kid, he could very well end up being the best quarterback in this class. And if you want to quote me and make it a hot take, make it a hot take. Like you said before, I'm about to go grab this guy's jersey, how much I love this kid. In the 2nd round, with the 39th pick, they pick up Tevin Jenkins, offensive tackle, Oklahoma State, 6'3", 227-pounder, 2020 first team All Big 12 selection and 2019 recipient of the Thurman Thomas Award, given out to the team's most outstanding offensive player. Excuse me. He had 35 career starts for the Cowboys, helping pave the way for All-American Mason Rudolph, James Washington, Tylant Wallace, Chubba Hubbard, who led the nation in rushing in 2019 with 2,094 yards. That's a big statement, fellas. Pay attention, you IDP folks. He also allowed 2 sacks in 35 career starts, according to Pro Football Focus. Last season, Jenkins started at the season at left tackle, but injuries along the offensive line forced him to the right side, where he started the next 6 games. So you got a left tackle and right tackle type of guy here. You can put him wherever. You can plug him in on whatever side. That, for me, is a big win. Versatility is the name of the game, folks, especially in that position. All the way to the 5th round now. We go to Larry Barham, OT, Missouri, another 6'5", 332-pounder. Barham started in 19 out of 20 games his final 2 seasons as a Tiger. 2020 All-SEC second-team selection. He started all 8 games in which he played 2020 at right tackle, helping the Tigers rush for 135.2 yards per game and 21 touchdowns in 2020. Barham also had the lowest QB percentage, 0%, last season among FBS offensive tackles, according to Pro Football Focus. In the 6th, they went with the 217th player picked, Khalil Herbert, running back, Virginia Tech. Bears rookie running back Khalil Herbert played 4 seasons at Kansas, but the 6th-round pick didn't blossom into an NFL prospect until he transferred to Virginia Tech the last year as a graduate student. After rushing for more than 663 yards and 5 touchdowns in any one season at Kansas, Herbert ranked 5th in the nation with 1,183 yards and 14 touchdowns at Virginia Tech in 2020. He averaged 7.6 yards a carry with the Hokies. In a huge increase from his 5.4 average with the Jayhawks, I'd say the transfer was a great idea. This adds depth to a backfield that could use some extra pop in the middle towards of the ending of the season. So if something happens to Tariq Cohen or something happens to Montgomery, this guy might get a chance. He's not even getting drafted in some instances in some leagues. You know what I mean? He might be there. So you might want to take a flyer on him. With their final pick, they went Daz Newsome, wide receiver out of North Carolina. He appeared in 43 games in over 4 seasons with the Tar Heels, catching 188 passes for 2,435 yards and 18 touchdowns. Not bad. The 5'11", 190-pounder had a breakout junior year in 2019, establishing career highs in all receiving categories with 72 receptions, 1,018 yards. Last season's Newsome followed with 54 catches and 684 yards and 6 touchdowns. He also returned punts the past 3 years at North Carolina, averaging 11.1 yards with 1 touchdown on 48 returns. The Bears will definitely be a team to watch this year. Mark my words. Nagy got his guy. Allen Robinson got the best quarterback he's ever played with, in my opinion. I just can't wait to see this, Brandon. I really can't.
And I'm excited, right? I really am excited for the Bears. A couple of things. I have a fear of Andy Dalton. I have a fear of this guy Nagy being an idiot and just freaking starting Andy Dalton for I don't know how many games.
I don't think he has a leash. I think he's on a short leash. I don't think he has the leash to do that, bro. I think this is.
I hope so, right? Because Nagy's already come out and keep saying that this guy's a starter. He's the guy. That's why we signed him. And it's either 2 things. Either Fields is not ready for the job, which isn't good, or Fields can take the job, but they don't let Andy Dalton give it up, which really worries me. I think Nagy's a bit of a clown, to be honest with you, bro. So I don't know what's going to go there. But I think if Fields starts and Fields plays, the wheels are up for this team. For me, though, I'm not a fan of Montgomery. I think he's slow, and I just don't see any if factor with this guy. He looks like an old 24-year-old to me. And I'm not drafting him anywhere, bro. I'd rather take Sermon a whole round later or Javonte a whole round before.
Or Cohen.
Just not a Montgomery guy, bro. How about you? What are your thoughts on him at all?
No, I'm okay with him. I'm not on the shitter with him, but Cohen is coming back this year. Cohen got injured last year. Let me tell you, for the ADP where Cohen's at right now, he's a steal. If he comes back anywhere near how he left, he's gonna be a great target on 3rd down for Fields, man. Like he's like almost a running back wide receiver. He's that fast. He's really good. So that's gonna take away from Montgomery for sure. And if Montgomery goes down, and like I said, Herbert comes in and he starts doing good, what do you think's gonna happen, bro? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't put it past you, man. I wouldn't disagree with you. Like if that would have happened, I'm just not as down on him as you are. But then again, time will have to tell. So
Yeah.
what teams are you doing, buddy? Where we going now?
All right. Well, before I jump in there, just real quick on the Bears. One other thing is Cole Kmet, man. Can't leave the Bears without talking about him, bro. You can buy him now, but I really think there's going to even be more of a dip. He's going to be even cheaper. I think week one's going to come around. Jimmy Graham's going to catch a couple touchdowns. Everyone's going to think Cole Kmet is not going to play, and that's when you strike because there is going to be a Cole Kmet breakout. I don't know if it's going to be, it's probably going to be next year. It could be the second half of this year at the earliest, but people, they didn't cut Jimmy Graham like everybody thought they were. So people are already a little down. Strike while the iron's hot and grab Cole Kmet because he's going to be a beast in my eyes.
No, I think that kid's really good. And
Yep.
Graham's there. Graham's already old, man. I
Yep.
wouldn't for all you guys listening out there. That for me is just that. And let's just say Graham starts. Graham has a injury-prone history, and they both played on the field last year. So I think the sky's the limit for this kid. I really like Kokomet. And where he's ADP right now, like let me tell you something, guys. If you're like, I had that happen to me in one of my drafts today. I have a formal way of draft where I like drafting, tight ends at a certain spot, and I didn't get to do that. And I kind of got down on myself. But then I start scrolling down and I see his name and I see a couple other names. It's not that bad. Just don't panic, like we said, on any draft. If the guy gets picked up, we all have our favorite guys. When they get picked up, we feel a certain type of way. I'm like that too. But there's value with Komet. There's super value there, and I'm glad that you brought him up because that's a super sleeper for me. I think that he has breakout written all over him this year. I don't even think that we have to wait that long.
Well, then, if that's the case, go out and buy him now. Everybody buy him now before the breakout because that's the name of the game. Buy them before they break out. So we're getting into it, bro. We got two more teams. I'm gonna start off with the Vikings, bro, and I'm gonna start off with a hot take. And
Okay.
my take is go out and sell Dalvin Cook. Go sell Dalvin.
Ooh.
Um, and now don't get me wrong. I'm saying to sell him because he is a good player, right? I'm not, and the reason you want to sell, you're like, oh, Brandon. Well, I mean, B, what's the point? We want to get good players, yeah, you want to get good players. You win leagues with good players, but Dalvin Cook is never going to be more valuable than he is right now. Okay,
Yeah.
he's gonna be 26 before the season starts this year. All right, which means by next year 27. And once people see that age, the value starts to disappear fast. Okay, he can still maybe produce. I mean, you start hitting 26, 27, 28. That's usually when they're done. So you're talking 3 years. Now, if you're talking startups, he's going above players like Gibson, Akers, or Swift, who we're very high on. So you go with Cook, you trade him to the Gibson owner and get some Gibson plus. You get Akers plus. You get Swift plus. So you get players that are set to be hopefully the next Dalvin Cook. You get them 3 years younger, and you're getting something on top of that. And that's how you keep your dynasty team going, right? Now, if you're a hardcore contender and you can't get a good deal, I'm not saying just trade them just to trade them, but like in a league I was in, right? I had Kamara and I traded him to get JT, right? You're in that league with me. That would be considered somewhat of a downgrade. Kamara's a good player. He's a top. If you're looking at startups, he's super high up there. But I downgraded in quotation marks to JT, and I just gained back like 5 more years, 4 more years of production. And that's how you do it. You have to keep the wheel spinning, and you can't be afraid to be too early on a player because I'd rather be too early or than too late. Think about what you feel like when you had David Johnson or when you had Todd Gurley or when you had Le'Veon Bell. All these players who used to be Dalvin Cook at some point, and all of a sudden they weren't. And everyone would have been telling you trade Gurley for X player plus. And you're like, oh, you're crazy. I'm going to win championships with Gurley. And then the next day, Gurley's done. Same thing with David Johnson. Same thing with Le'Veon Bell. Don't be scared to trade these superstars as long as you're getting quality value back because that's how you keep your dynasty running. Remember, dynasty means long term. So That's enough of my rant there, bro.
It's let me tell you, that's a great breakdown. Like if you're not contending, you're rebuilding, that's a perfect guy to trade. There's nothing else to say about that. He's a great player, but the name of the game is value, guys. It's always been value. It's always going to be value. And if you can get on Akers and a Swift plus a hook and a player or something of that sort, and you're not contending, do it now. If you're contending, you hold on to your guns. I personally love Dalvin Cook. He's for me. I have him on a lot of teams. I'm not trying to trade him, but at the end of the day, where I'm not trying to trade him, I'm contending. So I totally agree with Brandon on this. If you can get rid of him and for a haul, not for nothing, like Brandon said, for a haul, do it now because his upside is reaching his pinnacle already if it hasn't reached it yet. So
It's
go
only
ahead
gonna,
and do that.
he's only gonna go down, bro. He's
Yeah,
only gonna go down. And next year you won't be able to trade Cook for Akers because Cook will be 1 year older. Akers will hopefully have blown up this year, and next thing you know, Akers is gonna be more valuable than Cook. So I mean
no, I,
that's how it rolls, right? That's the name of the game. So be prepared. Moving on. Justin Jefferson, he was a revelation last year. There's not really much else needs to be said about him. Except I think people need to calm down a little bit, bro. They're putting him over AJ Brown. They're putting him over Tyreek, and I just don't see that. But
I don't.
Dynasty wide receiver 1 or Dynasty wide receiver 4, it doesn't matter. He's elite and he's young. But again, value. If I can trade Jefferson for Metcalf plus something, I think I would do that because you're getting a player of Metcalf who could be the wide receiver 1 just as easy as Jefferson could, but you're getting something else on top of that. So those are the type of moves that I would make. Moving on, I think the end is near for Thielen, bro. I think the cliff could happen fast, and it could happen as fast as this year. So to me, he's not even a win now piece for me. I'm not
Not at
drafting
all.
startups. Stay away, buyer beware.
Staying away. Staying away.
Stay
All the
away, bro.
way. Stay
Uh,
away. I think he's already banged up. Remember, he wasn't really a highly recruited wide receiver, and he's banged up already. Like I can tell he's wearing down, and that's not something that I want on my team.
no, he was. I mean, he didn't even have 1,000 yards last year.
Mm-mm.
What he had was 14 touchdowns. I mean, he's not going to score 14 touchdowns again.
No,
So
because
that's
call him what he is. He was a great wide receiver, and I got him in free agency in a bunch of leagues before anybody knew who he was, and he did great for me. But I think that like I said, he's on his way down, and I would stay away from him.
yeah. Stay away, bro. Tight end, Irv Smith, he has all the tools. But let's be honest, he's on a run first team, and he's probably the third and maybe the fourth option. And to be honest, that scares me, Brian. For that, you just wait 2 rounds and you grab Adam Troutman, who I think is going to have more targets and on a better offense as far as for tight ends is concerned. So
I got a hot take for you.
go.
I think Conklin outproduces Smith.
It's definitely possible, bro. I mean,
The
it's,
fact that Conklin can block, and the coach of the Vikings already said that he's not gonna, the Herb Smith's not gonna get a bigger role than what he had last year. Tells me everything that I need to know about
yeah.
Conklin.
I
Go,
mean, to be honest, they're probably both going to eat into each other, and they're both going to be useless. Like, I mean, that's
that
how.
that that could, you know what? That's a great point that you say that, because that's sometimes, we're all talking about upside here when there's two types of players, and that could very obviously happen. They could beat into each other's time, but I don't think so. I think that Irv Smith's blocking woes and the fact that Conklin's more of a player blocking, and he can catch, and he showed it last year. He went over double digits in the last 3 games of the season with Irv Smith there. That's a big thing for me. And where his ADP is at, I'm picking this guy up. This guy's a late round sleeper for me in all formats right now. Nobody even talks about this guy, and this guy literally outscored Irv Smith the last 3 games of the season. If I might be mistaken, maybe Irv Smith might have not played in one of those games or a few of those games, but the fact still remains that he's capable of getting you double digit points.
Yeah,
So
we're talking late round, bro. So it's not hurting you to grab him, or you're talking free agent. He's out there on the free agent wire. So if you have deeper leagues, you have a lot of roster spots. Grab the guy, see what happens.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
And another sleeper for me is the quarterback that they picked up, Kellen Mond.
yeah,
I mean, Cousins is like approaching his exit. I don't think they're going to re-sign him. by any chance he gets injured or anything, I think they're going to give this kid a chance. What's going to happen? I don't know. He's there. If they give him a season, you got a quarterback. That guy's going in the fourth round, fifth round sometimes, depending. Maybe even sometimes when people know value, sometimes people value him a little bit more. He's going at the end of third rounds. This is somebody that is being highly talked about filling in for Cousins once he's out of there. So you might want to look at that.
No, definitely. He's a good super flex guy to grab. And my sleeper on this team is Amir Smith-Marset. He's a fifth round pick out of Iowa. Horrible QB play derailed him. I mean, he's playing in Iowa, but horrible QB play derailed him. But he had a 32.8 college dominator, 6'1", 181 pounds. And we just said it, right? Thielen is approaching or is already over the age cliff. There's no other wide receiver of consequence on this team. What are we talking? BB Johnson or some other guy there? I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
there's
I mean, the wide receiver 3 job is already there for him for the taking. And as early as next year, if he plays good this year, he could be the wide receiver 2 playing next to Jefferson if Thielen falls off, if he plays well. So, again, it's a lot of ifs, but that's what sleepers are. Sleepers are, if this happens, then he can be good. So, again, fifth-round pick, 6'1", 181 pounds. Thielen's getting old. There's no other wide receivers there. There is a probable possibility that this guy could be something special next year. So he's a guy I'm grabbing. I picked him up almost on every team at the end of the rounds. So
yeah, me too. And I believe he plays on special teams, so that's another plus for him.
yep, there you go. You play special teams, you get to play in the NFL. So
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing like dropping an old player and picking up a new one. I mean, I can see them cutting Thielen and making this guy the third receiver. No problem. I'm with you.
Yeah. And going in, man, it's been a long one, bro. But here we are, bro, coming to the last team, the Packers, bro. And I'm just sick. I'm sick of talking about Aaron Rodgers, bro. I'm sick of talking about this fucker no more. Let's just all say what we want to say. We want him to play. We need him to play. We need him to make Adams the wide receiver 1 again this year. We need him to make Aaron Jones a top 5 running back this year. We want these things. We need these things. My dynasty team needs these things. Okay? That's all I have to say about them. I don't got nothing else to say about them. They're gonna be good. They're going to be great if Rodgers is there, and they're going to be good if Rodgers isn't there. We all just want these guys to be great and score points. That's what I want. I'm sure that's what you want. So Rodgers just needs to shut the fuck up and play, and let's deal with this shit next season.
Yeah.
Maybe A.J. Dillon is going to be good. Maybe he's not. But again, without Aaron Rodgers, it's hard to really envision this team doing much winning. Amari Rodgers is a nice player, 5'9". He's a stout 212 pounds. He played at Clemson. He was drafted in the third round. He has a low breakout age of 21 years old, and he doesn't jump off the cliff of the page athletically. I mean, he doesn't. If you look up his player profiler page, it's a bunch of just average shit. But if Aaron Rodgers plays, he could do some shit. He could be that slot PPR machine for fantasy players. I think he's better than MVS. I think he's better than Alan Lazard already. And to me, maybe another hot take, bro. Tunyon is overrated. All right, he's overrated, bro. All he did was catch touchdowns, which is great. It's awesome. We want people who catch touchdowns. But if you look at how many catches he had, how many yards without touchdowns, he would have had one of the worst tight end seasons. Okay, and his touchdown rate is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable without Rodgers for sure, and it's probably not sustainable with Rodgers. So people are still buying him. Sell him if you can.
Oh, my sleeper on that team is Cotton Hill, the running back. If Dillon doesn't work out, I think that kid can step in, and definitely he's very athletic, bro. He's good. You know what I mean? So maybe if Dillon doesn't work out, maybe Cotton Hill works out. But yeah, I'll agree with you in one place. We all need Aaron Rodgers to play football, bro.
And I think that's all we need to say about that, right? Like Aaron Rodgers
that's
play.
it. There's nothing else to say. We've been talking about this guy almost every podcast. People just play, dog.
Yeah, bro. Fuck
Just
that
play
shit.
and give us all what we want, bro. Throw touchdowns and go off, bro. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I love watching you play, brother.
yeah. And I think that's it for the show, man. Catch everyone. Catch us next week. We're gonna be finishing off our series, breaking down the divisions with our final one, the AFC and the NFC West. We'll have another Would You Rather, where I try to throw some curveballs at your boy JP. And thank you for listening, man. Have a good one.
You guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.